Okay. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitangscha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with Mahabharata Markandeya Samasya Parva in the Aranya Parva. Chapter 511 of the whole Mahabharata, episode 214. Markandeya said, Shiva was the wife of Angiras. She was endowed with conduct, beauty, and qualities. O Lord of men, the goddess assumed her form first. So Swaha, that is, assumed the form of the wife of Angiras, called Shiva. The beautiful lady went to Agni. Oh, Agni, I am tormented by desire, and you should satisfy my desire. O God, if you do not do this, know that I will kill myself. O Agni, I am the wife of Angiras, and my name is Shiva. I have decided to come here after consulting my friends. Agni asked, How did you know that I was suffering from desire? How did all the others, the beloved wives of the Saptarshis, come to know this? Shiva said, You have always been our beloved, but we were afraid of you. Now that we have got to know about your desire through signs, they have sent me to you. O Agni, I have come here to have intercourse with you. Now quickly satisfy the desire we feel. The mothers are waiting for my return. Extremely happy, Agni then lived with Shiva. The goddess was pleased with this union and caught the semen in her hand. She thought, if people see this from the forest, they will speak about the misdeeds of the wives of the Brahmanas with Agni. Therefore, to prevent this, I will become a Garudi and will easily escape from this forest. Footnote. Garudi is the feminine of Garuda bird. Garuda is also known as Suparna, and Suparni is the feminine. End of footnote. Then she became a Suparni and left the great forest. She saw Mount Sweta covered extremely well with reeds. The mount, remember what we're actually in the middle of talking about is the birth of Kartikeya. The mount, yes, the mountain was guarded by extraordinary seven-hooded serpents with poison in their eyes. It was populated by Rakshasas, Pisachas, masses of terrible demons, female Rakshasas, and many animals and birds. She quickly went to the mountain peak that was difficult of access. She then hurriedly hurled the semen into a golden well. Then the goddess assumed the forms of the other wives of the great-souled Saptarshis and united with Agni. But she was not able to assume the celestial form of Arundhati. Footnote, Vashishta's wife. End of footnote. Because of her faithfulness towards her husband and because of the power of her austerities. O supreme among the Kudu lineage, driven by desire, Swaha hurled Agni's semen into the well 6 times. On the first day of the lunar fortnight, The energy of the semen that had fallen down gave birth to a son. He was worshipped by the rishis, and because the semen had fallen down, he became Skanda. He had 6 heads and twice that many ears. He had 12 eyes and 12 arms, but Kumara had 1 neck and torso. The child assumed form on the 2nd lunar day and became a child on the 3rd lunar day. Guha's limbs were developed on the 4th lunar day. He was surrounded by a great mass of red clouds with lightning in them and looked like the sun rising on a gigantic red cloud. He held a giant bow in his hands, which made the body hair stand up. For the destruction of the enemies of the gods, it was placed there by the slayer of Tripura. Seizing that supreme bow, he roared with great strength, and this terrified the 3 worlds with all their mobile and immobile objects. The roar was like that of masses of giant clouds, and on hearing this, the great Nagas, Chitra and Airavata, jumped up. On seeing them fall, Agni's son, with radiance like that of the morning sun, grabbed them with two of his hands. He held a spear in another hand. The one with the gigantic form, supreme among strong ones, grasped a cock in one hand. Having grasped the cock, the immensely strong one roared terribly and sported. The strong one grasped a supreme conch shell in 2 of his arms and blew on it, striking fear even among powerful beings. As he played repeatedly, he pounded the sky with 2 of his other hands. It seemed as if Mahasena was about to drink up the 3 worlds with his mouths. On the mountain peak, the one whose soul was infinite looked like the sun's rays at the time of sunrise. The one whose valor was extraordinary sat on the mountain peak. The one whose soul was infinite looked at the directions with his many faces. He saw the different types of beings and roared again. On hearing those roars, many beings fell down. They were terrified and anxious and sought refuge with him. All the beings of different varnas sought refuge with the god whom the Brahmanas dub the greatest of all great companions. Arising, the mighty armed one comforted all beings. He then drew his bow and shot arrows at the great Mount Shweta. With those arrows, Mount Krauncha, the son of the Himalayas, was rent asunder. Through that breach, swans and vultures travelled to Mount Meru. On being shattered, the mountain fell down, uttering terrible lamentations. On seeing it fall, other mountains also screamed miserably. The supremely strong one heard those piteous lamentations, but he was not moved. The one whose soul is infinite raised his spear and roared. The great-souled one then hurled his great spear and swiftly cleft the terrible peak of Mount Sweta. Having been thus shattered, Mount Sweta was miserable. Frightened of the great-souled one, it left the earth and arose with the other mountains. This pained the earth, and it trembled on all sides. In distress, it sought refuge with Skanda and was made strong again. The mountains also worshipped him and returned to earth. The worlds now worship Skanda on the 5th day of Shukla Paksha. 512, episode 215. Markandeya said, However, the rishis were concerned about ensuring the welfare of the worlds. On seeing these extremely terrible portents of different kinds, they became anxious and performed tasks to pacify the worlds. The people who lived in the Chitrarata forest averred, "These great calamities have descended on us because Agni had intercourse with the wives of the Saptarshis." Others, who had seen the goddess leave in the form of Garudi, said, "You are responsible for this disaster." No one knew that this deed had been done by Swaha. Having heard that Skanda was her son, Suparni slowly went to him and said, "I am your mother." On learning that an immensely energetic son had been born, the Saptarshis abandoned their 6 wives, with the exception of the divine Arundhati. All the residents of the forest referred to him as the son of the 6. O king, but Swaha repeatedly told the Saptarshis, "I know that he is my son. What is being said is not true." After performing sacrifices for the Saptarshis, the great sage Vishwamitra had followed Agni without being seen, when he had been tormented by desire. He knew everything exactly as it had happened. Vishwamitra was the first to seek refuge with Kumara. He composed a celestial hymn of praise to Mahasena. The great sage performed all the 13 birth and other rituals for Kumara. He spoke about the greatness of the 6-faced one, the virtues of the cock, and the worship of the goddess Shakti and her companions. Vishwamitra performed rituals for the welfare of the world. Thus, the rishi Vishwamitra came to be loved by Kumara. The Great One came to know about Swaha's transformation of form and told all the sages that the women had not committed any crimes. But though they had heard these details, all of them abandoned their wives. On hearing about Skanda, the gods went and told Vasava, "O Shakra, Skanda's strength cannot be tolerated. Kill him swiftly and without any delay. If you do not kill him now, he will become Indra. O Shakra, with his great strength, he will oppress the 3 worlds, us and you." He replied to the ones who were miserable, "This child is immensely strong. With his valor, he can destroy the creator of the worlds in battle. Let the mothers of the world now go to Skanda. They have the power and the will to destroy him. That's the Matrikas. Shall I read the footnote? These divine mothers are sometimes described as companions of Shiva, sometimes as companions of Skanda. Their number is usually given as 7 or 8, and more rarely 16. They're called Matrikas. They have the power and the will to destroy him. They agreed to these words and went. But on seeing that his strength was unmatched, their faces became miserable. They thought that he was invincible and sought refuge with him. They told him, "You are our son. We hold up the universe. Welcome, all of us. We are overcome with affection for you. Our milk is flowing." Mahasena worshipped them and complied with their wishes. Then the strongest of the strong saw his father, Agni, approach, and together with the group of mothers, he received his worship. He remained there with Mahasena so as to protect him steadily. There was a lady among the mothers who had been created out of anger. She nursed Skanda like her own son, with a spear in her hand. She was the daughter of an ocean of blood and lived on blood. She embraced Mahasena and protected him like a son. Agni transformed himself into goat-faced Naigameya with many offspring. He sported himself on the mountain with the child as if with toys. Anyone else want to have a go?
I mean, just carry it. There's only a few of us, so you read a bit more, and then
Okay.
can I? Do you want to read after your dad?
I don't mind taking a turn now and then maybe
Yeah, well,
giving a turn
let
back.
Madam, yeah, let Madam read a bit more. Then you take, and I'll follow you. Can I after that?
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So 513. This is quite fascinating, isn't it? They often omit this narrative in other editions. Markandeya said, the planets, the minor planets, the rishis and the mothers, all radiant and led by Agni, with masses of attendants and many other terrible residents of heaven, established themselves around Mahasena, together with the groups of mothers. The Lord of the gods wished for victory, but was unsure about victory. He ascended Airavata's shoulders and departed, together with the gods. Desiring victory over Mahasena, Indra travelled swiftly. The army of the gods was immensely radiant. It was terrible and extremely fast. It was adorned with colourful flags and decorations and had many vehicles and bows. It was dressed in beautiful garments and was adorned and served by prosperity. When Kumara saw Shakra advance with the desire of killing him, he advanced. The immensely strong Shakra roared and advanced swiftly. This delighted the army of the gods who wished to kill Agni's son. Worshipped by the 30 gods and the supreme rishis, Vasava approached near Kartikeya. Together with the gods, the Lord of the gods roared like a lion. On hearing this sound, Guha roared like the ocean. On hearing this great sound, the splendid army of the gods lost its senses. It was agitated like the ocean by a storm. Having seen that the gods had approached with the desire of killing him, Agni's son was angered. He belched forth large flames of fire from his mouth. He burnt the army of the gods and made them writhe on the ground. The heads and the bodies were in flames, and the arms and the mounts were ablaze. They looked like radiant clusters of stars that had suddenly been dislodged. Having been burnt, the gods abandoned the wielder of the Vajra and sought refuge with Agni's son, thus obtaining peace. Having been deserted by the gods, Shakra hurled his Vajra at Skanda. O great king, this split opened Skanda's right side. When the side of the great sword Skanda was split from the force of the Vajra, another being was born. He was a youth, decorated in gold. He was clad in celestial earrings and wielded a spear. Since he was cheated from the entering of the Vajra, he was known as Vishaka. On seeing another
Created.
one arise, created, yeah, like the fire of destruction, Indra was frightened. He joined his hands in salutation and sought refuge with Skanda. O excellent one, Skanda granted him safety together with his army. The 30 gods were delighted and played on their musical instruments. There you go.
Okay. So can I?
Awesome.
Do you want?
Yeah.
God, yeah. And the gods made war. I mean,
They've all surrendered to Kartikeya now,
yeah.
all of them. even
He's
India.
so big in South India and hardly at all in North.
Yes, yes, yeah, they worship him.
Yeah, he's
That's why
huge.
we're getting all the different names of him, Skanda and Mahasena, etc.
Yeah.
And Kartikeya. It's great, isn't
Oh,
it?
fantastic. It's
Yes.
exciting. Yeah, yeah, goodness. The when it was describing, I see everything visually, So when it was just like and the armies, I just imagine like at the National Gallery, a massive painting like 20, 30 meters with like elephants and demigods and banners and people going and no, I mean some devotees have tried, they've got something, but nothing like what I've seen in my head.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Okay, can I take it away?
514, 217, episode 217. Excuse me. Markandeya said, now hear about Skanda's companions. They were terrible and extraordinary. They were born when Skanda was struck by the Vajra and are the minor Kumaras. These terrible ones steal children, whether they have been born or whether they are in the womb. From the force of the Vajra, immensely strong daughters were also born from him. The Kumaras thought of Vishaka as their father. The illustrious one protects in battle with the face of a goat. He is surrounded by the masses of daughters and all his own sons. While the mothers look on, Bhadrashaka provides succor. It's another name for Kumara, or it's in the footnote it says Kumara's epithet. So people on earth call Skanda the father of sons. In different regions, those who wish sons or have sons always worship Rudra, Agni, and the extremely strong Uma as Svaha. The maidens who the maidens who the fire named Tapas had begotten went to Skanda and he asked, "What will I do?" The mothers replied, "Grant us this favor. May we be the supreme mothers of all the worlds. May we be worshipped. Do this for our pleasure." He replied that it would be this way. Then that great-souled one again said, "You will be of different kinds, auspicious and inauspicious." Thus, having fulfilled the resolution of making Skanda their son, the group of mothers went away. Kaki, Halima, Rudra, Brihali, Arya, Palala, and Mitra became the 7 mothers of children who have just been born. Through Skanda's favors, each of them had a terrible son named Shishu, footnote, meaning infant or child, end of footnote, full of valor and red in the eye. Those who were born from Skanda's group of mothers are known as the 8 brave ones. Together with the one who has the face of a goat, which is Skanda, they are referred to as the 9. O king, know that the 6th of Skanda's 6 heads has the face of a goat and is always worshipped by the group of mothers. The chief among his 6 heads is known as Bhadrashaka. It is through this that he created divine energy. All these incidents occurred on the 5th day of Shukla Paksha. O Lord of men, the extremely terrible war was transpired on the 6th. Chapter 5:15, episode 2:18. Markandeya said, Skanda was seated with golden armor. He wore a golden crest and crown. His eyes were golden, and he was immensely radiant. His garments were tinged with red. His teeth were sharp, and he was beautiful. He possessed all the auspicious marks. He was the beloved of the three worlds. He was the granter of boons. He was brave. He was young. He was adorned with earrings. In the form of an embodied lotus, Shri herself worshipped him. When the greatly famous Kumara was thus united with Shri, all the beings saw him like the moon on the night of the full moon. The great-souled Brahmanas worshipped the extremely powerful one. The Maharishis spoke to Skanda in these words: O fortunate one, O one with the golden complexion, may you be the savior of the worlds. Though you have been born in 6 nights, the worlds have been subdued by you. O supreme among gods, you have granted them freedom from fear again. You should therefore become Indra and free the 3 worlds from their fear. Skanda asked, O ones rich in austerities, what does the Indra of all the worlds do? How does the Lord of the gods always protect the masses of gods? The rishis replied, Indra grants beings strength, energy, offspring, and happiness. When he is satisfied, the Lord of the gods grants everyone their shares. He withdraws it from those who perform evil deeds and grants it to those who perform good ones. The destroyer of Bala assigns beings to their tasks. He acts as the sun when there is no sun, and as the moon when there is no moon. He becomes the fire, the wind, the earth, and the water, and their origins. These are Indra's tasks, and Indra's strength is immense. You are brave, and you are supreme in strength. Therefore, you should be our Indra. Shakra said, O mighty armed one, O excellent one. Oh, excuse me. You become Indra and bring happiness to everyone. You are a worthy one, and we will instate you today. Skanda replied, You alone will rule over the 3 worlds, fixed on victory, O Shakra. I will remain as your servant. I do not desire to become Indra. Shakra said, O brave one, your strength is extraordinary. Kill the enemies of the gods. Amazed at your prowess, the worlds will ignore me. O brave one, though I am established as Indra, I am inferior in strength and have been vanquished. Incessantly, they will attempt to bring out false dissension among us. O Lord, when you have been separated, the world will be divided into 2 factions. The beings of the worlds will then decide to split into these 2 sides. O immensely strong one, because of this division of beings, there will be strife then. O son, let me assure you that you will then vanquish me in battle. Therefore, you should become Indra. Do not think about this, Skanda answered. O fortunate one, you are my king, as well as of the 3 worlds. O Shakra, what can I do for you? Tell me what your instructions are. Shakra said, O Skanda, if you have spoken true words according to your decision, and if you wish to follow my instructions, then listen to me. O immensely strong one, be instated as the general of the gods. O immensely strong one, follow your words. I will remain as Indra. Skanda answered, For the destruction of the Danavas, for accomplishing the objectives of the gods, for the protection of cows and brahmanas, then instate me as the general. So Bhagavan Indra, together with all the masses of the gods, instated him. He looked extremely handsome and was worshipped by the Maharishis. The golden umbrella sparkled like the circle of a fire that had been kindled well. Vishvakarma had created a golden and celestial garland. The slayer of Tripura, Shiva, fastened this on him. O tiger among men, O scorcher of enemies. He himself arrived with the famous goddess. That's Shiva. And the goddess Uma, of course. Extremely happily, the illustrious Rishadvaja showed him homage. The Brahmanas also refer to Agni as Rudra, and he is thus Rudra's son. The semen secreted by Rudra became Mount Shveta. It was on Mount Shveta that the Kritikas placed Agni's semen. All the residents of heaven saw Rudra offer homage to Guha, foremost among those who possess all the qualities. So he came to be known as Rudra's son. The child was born after Rudra entered Agni. Because he was born in this way, he became Rudra's son. It was thus that Skanda, foremost among the gods, was born as Rudra's son, through the energy of Rudra, Agni, Svaha, and the 6 ladies. Agni's son was attired in a pair of red garments that had no dust. His blazing body shone like the sun attired in a pair of red clouds. Agni gave him a cock, and that became his ornamental sign. Is that the peacock? Yeah, I think it is. Perched on his chariot, it blazed like the red fire of destruction. His body was cased in...
Hano,
Yes.
I think it refers, it's a rooster. That's his
Alright.
emblem, although he rides on a peacock.
Okay. Ah, yes, yeah, okay, yes, sorry, excuse me, see it.
Okay.
So his body was cased in armor that he had naturally been born with. It is always visible when the god goes into battle. O Lord of the people, with Skanda, power, dharma, energy, beauty, truthfulness, devotion to Brahmanas, lack of delusion, protection of devotees, destruction of enemies, and protection of the worlds were also born. Having been thus instated by the masses of all the gods, in his ornaments he looked happy and satisfied. His visage was as radiant as the full moon. Parvati was thus instated by the gods. Parvati is Skanda's name. The sounds of hymns from the Vedas, celestial music, the songs of the gods and the Gandharvas, and all the masses of Apsaras arose. He sported, surrounded by many who were happy, satisfied, and ornamented. Thus instated by the residents of heaven, Mahasena could be seen like the rising sun when darkness has been destroyed. At that, thousands of armies of the gods came to him from all the directions and said that he was their lord. The illustrious one was surrounded by masses of all the beings. He was worshipped and praised and comforted them. Having instated Skanda as the general, Shatakratu remembered Devasena, whom he had once freed. Brahma himself must have destined that he will be her husband. Thinking this, the slayer of Bala fetched Devasena, adorned in her ornaments, and told Skanda, O supreme among gods, even before you were born, the self-creating one destined this maiden to be your wife. Therefore, in accordance with the prescribed rites and to the chanting of mantras, accept her hand. The right hand of this goddess is like a lotus. Accept it. Having been thus addressed, he accepted her hand in accordance with the prescribed rites. Brihaspati recited the prescribed mantras and offered oblations. Thus, wise ones know Devasena to be Skanda's queen. The Brahmanas know her as Shashti, Lakshmi, Asha, Sukhaprada, Sinivali, Kuhu, Sadvriti, and Aparajita. When Devasena obtained Skanda as her eternal husband, the goddess Lakshmi herself sought refuge with him in embodied form. Footnote: Lakshmi was personified in the form of Devasena. Lakshmi is also known as Shri. End the footnote. Since Skanda was united with Shri on the 5th lunar day, this is known as Shri Panchami. He accomplished his objective on the 6th, and this is known as the great Tithi of Shashti. Chapter 516, Episode 219. Markandeya said, when Mahasena was united with Shri and became the general of the gods, the 6 goddesses, who were the wives of the Saptarshis, came to him. They had been abandoned by the Rishis, though they were devoted to Dharma and were great in their vows. They swiftly went to the Lord, who was the general of the gods, and said, O son, without any reason and driven by anger, our divine husbands have abandoned us. O son, we have been dislodged from our pure positions. It is said that someone reported we gave birth to you, and they heard this falsehood. You should save us, O Lord. Through your favors, we should attain eternal heaven. We wish that you should be our son. When you do this, you will be freed from your debt. Skanda replied, O unblemished ones, you are truly my mother's, and I am your son. You will obtain everything that you have asked for. When this had been said, he asked Shakra what should be done. Asked thus by Skanda, Vasava replied, Abhijit is Rohini's younger sister, but is proud. The goddess wishes to be the eldest and has gone to the forest to perform austerities. O fortunate one, I am bewildered because a nakshatra has been dislodged from the sky. O Skanda, consult with Brahma about that excellent time. This is still Vasava Indra, I believe, speaking. O Skanda, consult with Brahma about that excellent time. Brahma determined the time for Dhanishta, and the others. Rohini was the first, and their number used to be complete. Having been thus addressed by Shakra, the Kritikas went to heaven. This nakshatra is presided over by the god of fire and shines in the form of a cart. Vinata told Skanda. Footnote: Vinata is Garuda's mother. However, Svaha assumed the form of a Garudi. End of footnote. So, Vinata told Skanda, you are my son, and you are entitled to offer me funeral oblations. O son, I wish to live with you always. Skanda replied, I bow before you. Let it be that way. instruct me with a mother's affection. O goddess, worshipped by your daughter-in-law, you will always live here. Then the entire group of mothers spoke to Skanda in these words. The wise ones have praised us as the mothers of all the worlds, but we wish to be your mother. Therefore, show us honor. Skanda replied, You will be my mothers, and I will be your son. Tell me what I should do to satisfy your wishes. The mothers said, In earlier times, others had been thought of as mothers of the world. Let us have that position, and let them no longer have that position. O bull among gods, let us be worshipped by the world. Let us be worshipped by the world, not them. Because of you, we have been deprived of our offspring. Give them back to us. So the footnote is probably because their husbands had abandoned them, so they won't get offspring now. So now they give them back to us. Skanda replied, You cannot wish for offspring that have already been given away, but if you so wish, I can give you other offspring. The mothers said, While we are with you, we wish to devour the offspring of those mothers. Give them to us. They and their gods are different from you. Skanda replied, I can give you offspring, but what you have asked for will be extremely painful. O fortunate ones, protect the offspring as long as they are good and show you homage. The mothers said, O fortunate one, O Skanda, as you desire. We will protect the offspring. O Skanda, O Lord, if it pleases you, we wish to live with you always. Skanda replied, In different forms, afflict the offspring of young humans until they have attained 16 years of age. I will give you undecaying and terrible souls. With these, you will live in supreme happiness and also be worshipped a lot. At that, an extremely strong being, golden in complexion, sprung up from Skanda's body to devour the offspring of humans. Oppressed by hunger, it suddenly fell down on the ground, unconscious. With Skanda's permission, it became a graha. Footnote, a graha is something that seizes or grasps. That is, it is an evil spirit. It is also possible in this context to interpret a graha as a disease. End of footnote. It became a graha, terrible in form. Supreme Brahmanas know it by the name of Skanda Pashmara. I'll skip that footnote. I'll read the footnote since I mentioned it. Literally, Skanda's falling sick or Skanda's epilepsy. That's Skanda Pashmara. The extremely terrible Vinata is known as the Graha Shakuni. The Rakshasa woman Putana is known by the learned as the Graha Putana. She is terrible in form. She is fearful in form. She causes great pain and roams around in the night. The Pishacha woman, who is terrible in form, is known as Shita Putana. Her form is fearful. She steals embryos from women. Aditi is known as Revati, and her Graha is known as Raivata. This extremely terrible and gigantic Graha afflicts children. Diti, the mother of the Daityas, is known as Mukhamandika. This inaccessible demoness happily feeds on the flesh of children. The Kumaras and the Kumaris are said to have been created from Skanda. O Kauravya, they are extremely large grahas, and all of them devour embryos. They, the Kumaras, are known as the husbands of the Kumaris. They are terrible indeed, and without it being known, they snatch small children. O king, the wise know Surabhi to be the mother of cattle. Shakuni rides on her, and with her devours children on earth. O lord of men, the goddess Sarama is the mother of dogs. She always robs the embryos of women. The mother of trees resides in a karanja. Karanja is the name of a tree used for medicinal purposes. End of footnote. Men who wish to have sons worship her in the karanja. These 18 grahas and others are fond of meat and liquor. They always live for 10 nights in places where delivery takes place. Assuming a subtle form, Kadru enters a woman who is pregnant. She devours the embryo there, and she gives birth to a serpent instead. The mother of Gandharvas grasps the embryo and departs. On earth, that woman is seen as one whose fetus has vanished. The mother of Apsaras grasps the embryo and sits, and the learned refer to this as a fetus that is seated. Footnote. Perhaps implying that the fetus does not move and is dead. End of footnote. The daughter of the ocean of blood is known as Skanda's nurse. In a Kadamba tree, she is worshipped by the name of Lohitayani. Arya dwells among women, the way Rudra resides in men. Kumara's mother, Arya, is separately worshipped for the fulfillment of desires. I have thus recounted for you the great grahas of the Kumaras. They are inauspicious up to 16 years of age. After that, they turn auspicious. The listed group of mothers and the male grahas are always known by everyone as Skanda grahas, residing in the body. They are pacified through oblations, bathing, incense, collyrium, sacrifices, and gifts, especially rites for Skanda. When thus worshipped and offered homage properly, all of them bestow welfare, long lives, and energy on men. O Indra among kings, after worshipping Maheshvara, I will now recount the grahas that afflict men beyond the 16th year. The man who sees gods, whether asleep or awake, swiftly turns mad, and the learned know this as Devagraha. Here we go. The man who sees his ancestors, whether seated or asleep, swiftly turns mad, and this is known as Pitrigraha. He who disrespects the Siddhas angers them and is cursed by them, swiftly turning mad, and this is known as Siddhagraha. He who inhales fragrances and tastes different flavors swiftly turns mad, and this is known as Rakshasagraha. A man on earth who is touched by celestial Gandharvas swiftly turns mad, and this is known as Gandharva Graha. Over a period of time, a man who is entered by Yakshas swiftly turns mad, and this is known as Yakshagraha. A man who is always ascended by Pishachas swiftly turns mad, and this is known as Pishajagraha. A man whose mind is deluded and turbulent because of these evils swiftly turns mad and must be cured in accordance with the sacred texts. Men swiftly turn mad because of perplexity, fear, and terrible sights, and must be cured through rites. There are 3 types of grahas. Some are frolicsome, others are gluttons, and others are lustful. They afflict men until the attainment of 70 years of age. After that, fever is the equivalent of a graha for men. Grahas always avoid those who have not dispersed their senses, and those who are controlled. Grahas always avoid those who have not dispersed their senses, and those who are controlled, pure, and always attentive, and also those who believe in God and are devoted. This is the description of Grahas that afflict men. Grahas do not touch men who are devoted to the god Maheshvara.
Wow, I think I'm going to carry on now from that, if you don't mind. Can I carry on? Wow,
Yes, I see already.
heavy shit, man. I mean,
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
yeah, well, let's talk about it afterwards because I have,
Yeah,
through my connection with Ranjit Nath and Agoreshwar Mahadev and that whole thing, I will tell you about it later. It's this other paradigm that lurks there deeply in the Indian psyche.
It's there, man. It's
And
there.
it's really big, and it lurks even in middle class suburbia, I can tell you. Okay, so it was really, yeah, quite astounding. I'm going to carry on now. So we're carrying on from the Mahabharata, Markandeya Samasara Parva, and welcome to Dinanath, who's appeared. 5:15:220. Continuing Markandeya's these incredible things that he's telling you to steer, mind-boggling. Markandeya said, when Skanda had done all this to please the mothers, Swaha appeared before him and said, you are the son born from my womb. I wish that you should give me happiness that is extremely difficult to obtain. Skanda replied to her, what kind of bliss do you wish for?
You know, Matura, when you're reading, you kind of go a bit off the screen a bit.
Do you know what's just happened? That was Darren just calling me on the phone.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to Darren in 3 years. Um, um, can you just carry on? And I've just got to take this call. It's very important. I'm sorry. Can you?
yes.
Yeah, sorry. You just carry on. That was just
If
bizarre.
someone else want, yeah, okay. All right, if that's all right, I suppose that's all right with everyone else. I'll just carry on. Chapter 517, episode 220. Markandeya said, so, when Skanda had done all this, to please the mothers, Svaha appeared before him and said, I can hear him. So Svaha appeared before him and said, you are the son born
Sorry,
from...
tell Matura to mute himself.
Yeah. Matura, mute yourself, please. I don't think he'll hear me. He's in his own world.
That's still going on, and I'm taking a break. I feel
Shall I just keep going?
we need to speak, unless.
You tell me what
Matura,
to do.
mute yourself. If you're going to be off.
I think I'll just keep carrying. Should I just
But
carry on?
but when you hear him coming nearby, then tell him when he can hear you.
Okay. So Svaha, so when Skanda had, Markandeya said from the beginning, Markandeya said, when Skanda had done all this to please the mothers, Svaha appeared before him and said, you are the son born from my womb. I wish that you should give me happiness that is extremely difficult to obtain. Skanda replied to her, what kind of bliss do you wish for? Svaha said, O mighty armed one, I am Daksha's beloved daughter, and my name is Svaha. Ever since I was a child, I have always desired Agni, O son, but the fire does not completely know how much I love him. O son, I wish to reside eternally with Agni. Skanda replied, O goddess, whatever oblations are properly offered to gods and ancestors by brahmanas, with the recital of mantras and through Agni, will henceforth be rendered with the utterance of the word Svaha. O beautiful one, thus you will always reside with Agni. Having been thus addressed and worshipped by Skanda, Svaha was satisfied. She was united with her husband Agni and offered homage to Skanda. Then Prajapati Brahma told Mahasena, "Go to your father Mahadeva, the destroyer of Tripura. For the welfare of the worlds, you have been born invincible, with Rudra entering Agni and Uma entering Svaha." Do you want to carry on from 518, Mathura? Yeah?
Yeah, you read to the next bit and then I'll carry on. That was just quite far out. Anyway, synchronicity. Carry on. I'll carry on from 518. Yeah.
Yeah, mute yourself, please.
Oh,
Thanks. The great-souled Rudra, where was I? Okay, so then Prajapati Brahma told Mahasena, "Go to your father Mahadeva, the destroyer of Tripura. For the welfare of the worlds, you have been born invincible, with Rudra entering Agni and Uma entering Svaha." The great-souled Rudra moistened Uma's vagina with his semen. Wasn't expecting that. This was thrown on the mountain and created Minjika and Minjika. 297 footnote. Two beings. The first is masculine and Minjika, and the latter is feminine and Minjika. They are worshipped by those who wish to ensure the welfare of children. End of footnote. The remaining semen flowed into the Red River. Other parts ascended into the rays of the sun, and others fell on the earth. Still others adhered to the trees. Thus it fell in 5 ways. The wise ones know your terrible companions of many different forms, the eaters of flesh, as Ganas. Mahasen agreed, and the one whose soul was immeasurable worshipped his father Maheshvara, and he in turn was affectionate towards his son. Those who wish to acquire riches should worship the 5 Ganas with arka flowers, and worship them if they wish diseases to be cured. Those who wish to ensure welfare for children should always worship Minjika and Minjika, generated from Rudra. Those who wish to obtain offspring should bow in obeisance before the divine women named Vritikas, who were born from trees and eat human flesh. Thus is known the innumerable masses of Pishachas. O king, now learn from me about the origins of the bells and the pennants. Airavata, Indra's elephant, Airavat, had 2 bells known as Vaijayanti. The intelligent Shakra brought them himself and gave them to Guha. One of those bells was for Vishaka, the other for Skanda. The pennants of both Kartikeya and Vishaka are red. The immensely strong god Mahasena played happily with these toys, given to him by the gods. Surrounded by the masses of Pishachas and the masses of gods, he was radiant on that golden mountain, blazing with prosperity. With that brave one, the mountain and its pure groves was radiant, like the beautiful caverns of Mandara with the rays of the sun. Mount Shveta was radiant with groves blossoming with some Tanaka flowers, groves of Kara Viras, groves of Parijatas, Japas, groves of Ashokas, clusters of Kadamba trees, masses of divine animals, and masses of divine birds. All the masses of gods and all the Devarshis were there. The clouds thundered like drums, like the sound of the turbulent ocean. The celestial Gandharvas danced there, together with the Apsaras. The great sound of happy beings was heard there. Thus the entire universe, together with Indra, gathered on Mount Shveta and happily beheld Skanda, not tired of looking. Okay, Matura, can carry on now.
That was beautiful. Wow.
Matura, just
Yes.
before you start, I thought it was funny to note, Ralph Griffith in his Ramayana omits the birth of Skanda. And
Does it?
he says in the footnote, I am compelled to omit cantos 37 and 38, the glory of Uma and the birth of Kartikeya, as both in subject and language offensive to modern taste.
He obviously hadn't visited Khajuraho yet, or Konarak.
He
Yeah,
just felt too delicate for the modern reader.
we have
Or
on
Victorian
candid camera.
reader,
We have on candid camera Mr. Braja Mohan sitting there.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
That's all right. In terms of visually as well, that is the perfect visual spot, exactly as you've got it now, because you've got the lines all going to your head from the pictures there and the thing. You're in the correct. That's the perfect. It's great. I've got to go a bit like
all right
to get mine. Okay, well, I'm going to carry on. We can chitter chatter afterwards. Let's keep this going because we're in weird locus here. Okay. Markandeya said, carrying on, 518, 221, page 404 in our version of the Mahabharata, Markandeya Samashabharava. Markandeya said, when Agni's illustrious son was instated as the general, the radiant Lord Hara was delighted and left the Bhadravata in a chariot that had the complexion of the sun, together with Parvati. 1,000 lions were yoked to that supreme chariot. Driven by destiny, it ascended into the bright firmament. It seemed to drink up the sky and terrified mobile and immobile objects. Those lions with handsome manes roared and went up to the sky. Pashupati was resplendent, seated on that chariot together with Uma. It looked like the sun amidst clouds thick with lightning and Indra's bow. The illustrious Naravahana, Lord of Riches. Oh, could be okay. Phew, I get dizzy if I go and look at all. I'm just going to have to keep reading and we'll have to guess. It looked like the illustrious Naravahana, Lord of Riches, together with the Guyakas, the Kubera, advanced in front on the beautiful Pushpaka. Behind Vrishadhwaja, the granter of boons, Chakra followed, ascended on Airavata, accompanied by the gods. Wow. The great Yaksha, Amoga, was on the right side with Jambakas. Yakshas and Rakshasas adorned with garlands. Also on the right advanced the gods, the Maruts, armed with many different weapons, together with the Vasus and accompanied by the Rudras. Yama, together with Mrityu, terrible in form, advanced, surrounded on all sides by hundreds of terrible diseases. Behind Yama followed Rudra's beautiful, sharp, and decorated trident by the name of Vijay. There was also the illustrious Varuna, Lord of the Ocean, advancing slowly with his terrible noose and surrounded by innumerable aquatic animals. Vijaya was followed by Rudra's spear with maces, clubs, lances, and several other supreme weapons, O king. The spear was followed by Rudra's extremely radiant umbrella and his water pot served by masses of maharshis. On the right was his radiant staff accompanied by Shri with Brigu, Angiras, and the gods worshipping it. Behind these was Rudra on his unblemished chariot, gladdening all the gods with his energy. The rishis, the gods, the Gandharvas, the serpents, female rivers, male rivers, trees, masses of apsaras, nakshatras, planets, the children of the gods, and different types of women followed Rudra at the rear. Woo! The lovely and beautiful women, scattered flowers, showers of flowers. Parajanya followed, worshipping the wheel of the Pinaka. Soma held a white umbrella over his head. Agni and Vayu held whisks on either side. O king, Chakra was behind them, accompanied by Shri and all the Rajasis, singing praises of Rishwadwaja. Gauri, Vidya, Gandhari, Keshini, Mitrasarya, all of them followed Parvati at the rear together with Savitri. The different branches of knowledge created by those who were wise and recited by Indra and other gods were in the vanguard. The Rakshasas, the Grahas, holding pennants, were in front, as was Rudra's friend Pingala, the Indra of the Yakshas, who ensures happiness to the world and is always busy in burning grounds. Accompanied by all these, the god happily travelled. His course was not certain. He was sometimes in the front and sometimes in the back. Those on earth worshipped the god Rudra through good deeds using the name Shiva. He is also known as Isha, Rudra, and Pinaki. Maheshwar is worshipped with all kinds of objects. Thus, Kritika's son, the general of the gods, and with the qualities of a Brahmana, followed the lord of the gods, surrounded by the army of the gods. Then, Mahadev spoke words of great import to Mahasena. Always steadfastly protect the 7 corpses of the Maruts. Skanda replied, O Lord, I will protect the 7 corpses of the Maruts. O God, tell me quickly, what else should I should do? Rudra said, O son, you will always see me in every task you undertake. By looking at me devotedly, you will ensure supreme welfare. Wow. Having said this, Maheshwar embraced him and gave him permission to leave. Phew. Phew. O great king, when Skanda was allowed to go, a great portent suddenly appeared. To bewilder all the gods, the firmament with all its nakshatra blazed, the earth trembled and groaned, the entire universe was enveloped in darkness. On witnessing this terror, Shankara was disturbed. So were the immensely fortunate Uma and the gods, together with the Maharshis. While they stood around in bewilderment, a great army appeared. It was like a mass of mountains or rain clouds. It was terrible to see and had many weapons. This terrible army roared and uttered diverse sounds. It advanced towards the illustrious Shankar and the gods to do battle. They hurled many showers of arrows on them and mountains, satagnis, javelins, clubs, and maces. From that great and terrible shower of weapons, the entire army of the gods was scattered in an instant and was seen to waver. Oppressed by the Danavas, the army of the gods was mauled. The soldiers, the elephants, and the horses were sliced down. The weapons and the Maharatas were shattered. They were killed by the Asuras like a grove by many fires. It fell down burnt like a forest full of large trees. The gods were mowed down, heads severed from bodies. They were slaughtered in that great battle and were without a protector. On seeing the army destroyed, the god Purandara, the slayer of Bala, spoke comfortingly to the army that was oppressed by the Danavas. O fortunate ones, O brave ones, discard your fear, grasp your weapons, set your minds on valor. Do not be disheartened. Vanquish the extremely evil Danavas, terrible in form. O fortunate ones, attack those great Asuras with me. Having heard Chakra's words, the residents of heaven were comforted. Seeking refuge with Shakra, they attacked the Danavas. Then all the 30 gods, the immensely strong Maruts and the Sanyas, together with the Vasus, returned the attack with great force. The weapons that they angrily unleashed on the armies in battle, and the arrows drunk up large quantities of blood from the Daityas. The sharp arrows pierced their bodies, which could be seen to fall down like serpents from a mountain. O king, the bodies of the Daityas were sliced by the arrows and fell down on the ground everywhere like shredded clouds. In that battle, attacked by all the masses of gods with their diverse arrows, the army of the Danavas was terrified and retreated. On seeing this, all the gods raised their weapons. There was rejoicing and the sounding of many musical instruments. Thus, an extremely terrible and fearful battle raged between the gods and the Danavas, creating muck out of flesh and blood. But suddenly, those from the world of the gods were soon to be worsted. The terrible Danavas slaughtered the residents of heaven. The chiefs among the Danavas uttered terrible roars like lions. They sounded their musical instruments, and there was a great noise from their kettle drums. An extremely strong and terrible Danava emerged from the army of the Daityas then. Oh, it's all switched around. His name was Mahisha. Ah, that's where Mahisha comes in. And he grasped a giant mountain. He looked like the sun surrounded by dense clouds. O king, on seeing him raise the mountain, the gods fled. But Mahisha pursued the gods and flung the mountain. O king, the army of the gods was struck by that falling mountain, which was terrible in form. They were killed in large numbers and fell down on the ground. With the other Danavas, Mahisha terrified the gods. He shattered them in battle like a lion and small animals. On seeing Mahisha descend on them, Indra and the other gods fled from the field of battle. Their weapons and their pennants were strewn around. Then Mahisha was extremely angered and advanced towards Rudra's chariot. Approaching it, he seized the pole of Rudra's chariot. When the angry Mahisha suddenly sees Rudra's chariot, the sky and the earth groaned deeply, and the Mahishas fainted. Gigantic Daityas that were like clouds roared. They were certain that they would triumph, but even the state, the illustrious one, did not kill Mahisha in battle. He knew that the evil-minded one's death would be at Skanda's hand. The fearful Mahisha exulted at having seen Rudra's chariot. He roared, delighting the Daityas and terrifying the gods. When the gods confronted the terrible danger, Mahashena arrived. He flamed like the sun in the rough. He was attired in red garments. He was adorned in red garlands and ornaments. His mouth was red. The mighty armed lord was clad in golden armor. He was astride his chariot, golden in hue and like the sun. On seeing him, the army of the Daityas suddenly lost their hearts in battle. O Indra among kings, the immensely strong Mahashena hurled a flaming spear which was capable of shattering at Mahisha. Once unleashed, it struck Mahisha's gigantic head. The head was severed from the body, and Mahisha fell down, having lost his life. He hurled that spear again and again, slaying enemies by the thousands. As the gods and the Danavas looked on, it then turned to Skanda's hand. The residual masses of the terrible Daitya army were mostly killed by the wide Mahashena with his arrows. They were frightened and terrified, and Skanda's unassailable companions killed and devoured them in hundreds. They ate the Danavas and drank their blood. They don't hang around, do they? In a short time, they exterminated all the Danavas and began to rejoice. Like the sun destroys darkness, the fire destroys trees, and the wind dispels clouds, the famous Skanda destroyed enemies through his own valor. He was shown homage by the 30 gods, and he worshipped Maheshwara. The son of the Kritikas was resplendent like the gorgeous sun amidst its rays. When the enemies were destroyed by Skanda and Maheshwara had left, Purandara embraced Mahashena and spoke to him. O Skanda, you have killed Mahisha, who had received a boon from Brahma. The gods were like straw to him. You are foremost amongst the victorious ones. O mighty armed one, you have destroyed the thorn of the gods in battle. You have killed 100 Danavas who were the equals of Mahisha. You have slain the enemies of the gods who had oppressed us earlier. Your followers have devoured hundreds of other Danavas. You are as invincible in battle as the illustrious husband of Uma. O God, this will be famous as your first deed. Your fame will be eternal in the three worlds. O son of a god, the gods will be under your suzerainty. Having spoken these words to Mahasena, Sachi's husband stopped. He took the permission of the illustrious Triambaka, Jiva, and left together with the other gods. Rudra returned to Bhadravata. The gods returned. Rudra spoke to the gods. Regard Skanda as you regard me. Having killed masses of Danavas, Agni's son subjugated all the three worlds within a single day, and he was worshipped by the Maharshis. He who attentively reads this account of Skanda's birth obtains prosperity here at Skanda's world in the hereafter. Wow. That was so far out to read. Wow.
Amazing, isn't it?
I've never read anything quite like that. I've never enjoyed sticking the boot in so much.
Well, now there's a short parva, and then it goes on to the Gosha Yatra parva. That's when it changes, things change a bit.
So when you say this is, you mean it's a short chapter, episode?
Well, parva is like a section.
Section. Okay.
So,
okay.
Shall I read it? Because I really
of course, absolutely, yeah.
So this is called Draupadi Satyabhama Samvad Parva. This parva has 88 shlokas and 3 chapters. Samvada means a conversation, and this short parva has a conversation between Draupadi and Satyabhama. Krishna and Satyabhama return to Dwaravati. So remember, Krishna and Satyabhama and a few others are there as well, listening to all this, Markandeya's stories. So chapter 519, 222 of the Aranyaka Parva. Vaishampayana said, when the Brahmanas and the great-souled Pandavas were seated, Draupadi and Satyabhama entered together. They were extremely happy and seated themselves comfortably. O Indra among kings, they had seen each other after a long time. They were pleasant in speech and spoke to each other about the deeds of the kings from the Kuru and Yadu lineages. Then the slender-waisted Satyabhama, Krishna's beloved queen and the daughter of Satrajit, spoke to Yagyaseni in private. O Draupadi, how do you conduct yourself when you attend to the Pandavas? Those brave and young ones are the equals of the guardians of the world. O beautiful one, how do you keep them under your control? O one who is beautiful to behold, the Pandavas are always under your control. They always look towards you and do your bidding. Tell me the reason. Do you follow vows, or is it austerities? Is it ablutions, bathing, mantras, or herbs? Is it the valor of knowledge or the valor of roots? Is it meditation, oblations, or medicaments? O Panchali, O Krishna, tell me about your famous knowledge of amorous matters, so that Krishna will always remain under my control. Having said this, the famous Satyabhama stopped. The immensely fortunate Draupadi, who was devoted to her husbands, replied, "Oh, Satya, you are asking me about the practices of evil women. How can one praise those who travel along wicked paths? Such questions and uncertainties are not worthy of you. You yourself have enough intelligence. You are Krishna's beloved queen. When a husband learns that a woman uses mantras or roots, he becomes as terrified of her as of a snake that has entered the house. How can someone who is anxious to find peace? How can someone who is anxious find peace? How can there be happiness without peace? No woman is able to control her husband through mantras. Those who crop roots are enemies. They are violent and transmit poison and extremely terrible diseases. When a man accepts these powders through the tongue or the skin, there is no doubt that he will soon be killed. Women have caused dropsy, leprosy, old age, impotence, dumbness, blindness, and deafness through these means. Addicted to wicked ways, these evil women cause great harm to their husbands. A woman should never act so as to cause displeasure to her husband. Oh, illustrious Satyabhama, listen. I'll tell you everything about how to behave towards the great souled Pandavas. I always avoid vanity, desire, and anger. I always steadily serve the Pandavas as their wives. In return, I always place my soul in their souls. I always serve them without any sense of pride. I protect the hearts of my husbands without being anxious about wrong words, wrong situations, wrong looks, difficult seats, difficult roads, and difficult signs. That is the way I serve the Mahabharata Partas, who are extremely terrible in their energy and are equal to the sun, the fire, and the moon, and who are capable of killing with their glances. My mind never turns to other men, be it a god, a man, a Gandharva, a young one with ornaments, one who is rich, or one who is handsome. I do not eat, bathe, or sleep before my husband, together with his servants, has performed these acts. When my husband returns home from the field, the forest, or the village, I always get up to welcome him and offer him a seat and water. The stores for food are clean. The food is clean. I serve food at the right time. I am careful in maintaining the grain and ensure that the house is clean. I am direct and refined in speech. I do not consort with evil women. I always do that which is pleasant. I am never lazy. I do not laugh unless there is a joke. I do not tarry for a long time at the gate. I do not spend a long time in the toilet or in the garden. I do not laugh loudly or complain or give cause for anger. O Satya, I am always engaged in steadfastly serving my husbands. In no way do I desire anything that does not bring my husband's pleasure. When my husband is not at home because of some work connected with the relatives, I follow a vow of not using flowers or fragrances. When my husband does not drink or does not eat, neither do I. I always renounce everything that my husband does not enjoy. O beautiful one, I always base myself on what has been instructed. I am ornamented well. I am extremely careful. I am engaged in the pleasure of my husband. Earlier, my mother-in-law had told me about this dharma followed in the household by offering alms, sacrifices, funeral ceremonies, cooking food on auspicious lunar days, and everything else that should be respected. I know all that. I always follow them untiringly, day and night, with all my soul, always fixed on humility and injunctions. My husbands are mild, righteous, truthful, and the followers of true Dharma. but I serve them as if they are angry and venomous serpents. It is my view that the eternal dharma of woman is to be dependent on the husband. He is the god and he is the path. How can one cause him displeasure? I do not transgress my husbands in sleeping, eating, or speech. I always control myself and never complain about my mother-in-law, O fortunate one. Through constant attention in daily pursuits and through servitude to the superiors, my husbands remain under my control. I always serve Kunti, the mother of brave ones, and one who is always true in her words, myself in her bathing, dressing, and eating. I never cross her in issues of garments, ornaments, or food. Prita is the equal of the earth itself, and I never complain about her. Earlier, in Yudhishthira's abode, 8,000 brahmanas were fed every day on golden plates. 88,000 Snataka householders were supported by Yudhishthira, with 30 servant girls each. Other than this, 10,000 ascetics, with their desire under control, were fed well-cooked food on golden plates. All those brahmanas were knowledgeable about the Brahman and had been given grants of land. I worshipped them in due order, with drink, garments, and food. The great-souled Konteya possessed 100,000 servant girls. They were adorned with necklaces and bracelets made of shells, gold around their necks, ornaments, expensive garlands, gold and sandalwood paste, and sported their gems and their gold. They were skilled in dancing and singing. I knew the names, the forms, the food, and the garments of each of them, and also their work, what each one did and did not do. Kunti's intelligent son had 1,000 maidservants who used to serve the guests day and night, holding vessels in their hands. When Yudhishthira lived in Indraprastha, he possessed 100,000 horses and 100,000 elephants. Such were the king's instructions when he ruled the earth. I listened to them and laid down the number of tasks for all the servants and everything that was done in the inner quarters. I knew everything about the cowherds and the shepherds, what they did and what they did and did not do. I knew everything about the king's revenue and expenditure. O fortunate one, I alone knew everything about the famous Pandavas. Those bulls among the Bharatas passed on everything about the household to me. O one with beautiful face, that is the reason they were devoted to me. This load was incapable of being borne by someone who is evil in soul. I gave up all pleasure, day and night. The treasury of my husbands, who followed Dharma, was such an ocean that even Varuna could not manage it. I alone knew about the store. I endured hunger and thirst day and night. I attended to the Kauravyas, and day and night were the same for me. I was the first to rise from my bed. I was the last to lie down. Oh Satya, that has always been my practice. I know this to be the greatest technique of making husbands devoted to you. I have not followed the practices of evil women, nor do I desire to do that. Having heard these words from Krishna, full of dharma, Satya honored Panchali, whose conduct always abided by dharma, and said, "O Panchali, O Yagyaseni, I have been at fault. Pardon me. Among friends, it does not happen that words are spoken in jest without having been intended." 520. Draupadi said, "I will tell you about the way that is without deceit for capturing the heart of the husband. O friend, if you follow that true path, you will be able to restrain your husband from other women. O Satya, in all the worlds, with all their gods, there is no god equal to the husband. You will obtain all your desires through his favors, but if he is angered, you will lose them. It is from there that you obtain offspring, various objects of desire, beds, seats, garments that are wonderful to see, garlands, fragrances, the world of heaven, and extensive fame. Happiness cannot be obtained through easy means. It is through hardship that virtuous women find happiness. Therefore, always worship Krishna with all your heart, love, and affectionate deeds. Through beautiful seats, excellent garlands, various fragrances, and prompt service, he will know that you love him and will himself embrace you with all his affection. When you hear your husband's voice at the gate, you must arise and stand in the middle of the house. When you see him enter, you must swiftly give him a seat. You must worship him with water for washing the feet. Send your servant girls away. Arise and do every task yourself. O Satya, let Krishna know that you love and worship him with all your soul. When your husband says something in your presence, protect it as a secret, even if it is not a secret. If one of your co-wives reports it to Vasudeva, he might feel disenchanted with you. Through whatever means, you must invite for meals those whom your husband loves, those who are devoted to him, and those who desire his welfare. But you must always distance yourself from his enemies and opponents, those who wish him ill and those who are evil and deceitful. If the man is intoxicated or distracted, control your mind and maintain silence. You should never spend a long time alone with your sons, Pradyumna and Samba. You should be friends with women who are born in noble lineages and those who are virtuous and without sin. You must avoid those who are wrathful, addicted to drink, addicted to food, thieves, evil, and fickle. This is the glorious secret of love, which leads to heaven and ensures the destruction of enemies. Therefore, adorn yourself with expensive garlands, ornaments, unguents, and pure fragrances, and worship your husband. And then the last bit of this, 521. Vaishampayana said, after having been seated with Markandeya, the other Brahmanas and the great-souled Pandavas, and spoken to them about pleasant subjects, Janardana Madhusudana took his leave in the appropriate way. Keshava ascended his chariot and asked for Satya. Then Satyabhama embraced Drupada's daughter and spoke these cordial words to her, as was in conformity with her affectionate sentiments. O Krishna, may you not suffer from anxiety or grief. May you not lie awake at night. You will win the earth when your husbands, who are equals of the gods, subjugate it. You are good in conduct. You have propitious marks. O black-eyed one, no one like you can confront difficulties for long. I have heard that it is certain that together with your husbands you will enjoy the earth without any enemies and without any thorns. O Drupada's daughter, when the sons of Dhritarashtra have been killed and the enmity has been avenged, you will behold the earth protected by Yudhishthira. You will soon see those wives of the Kuru lineage who, deluded by insolence, laughed at you when you left for the banishment in a state of despair. O Krishna, know that all those who caused you misery when you were in a situation that was unpleasant will depart for Yama's abode. Your sons, Prativindya, the illustrious Sutasoma, Arjuna's son, Sutakarma, Nakula's son, Satanika, and Sutasena, begotten by Sahadeva, are all brave and skilled. Your sons are skilled in the use of weapons. They are living happily with Abhimanyu in Dwaravati, a place they love. Like you, Subhadra loves them with all her soul. Without any conflict, she is affectionate towards them and has no worries on their account. Pradyumna's mother loves them with all her soul. Keshava instructs them with Bhanu and the others. My father-in-law always looks after their food and attire. With Rama and the others, all the Andakas and Vrishnis are devoted towards them. O beautiful one, they love them as much as Pradyumna. Having spoken these affectionate and kind words, pleasant to the mind, she made up her mind to leave and went towards Vasudeva's chariot. The beautiful Satyabhama, Krishna's queen, circumambulated Krishna and ascended Sauri's chariot. After he had smiled and comforted Draupadi, the best of the Yadu lineage, the scorcher of enemies, took his leave and left on those swift steeds. What about Dina?
I'm just spectating today. I'm not feeling so brilliant.
Well, we could.
You just carry on, madam, until you stop.
All right, Gosha Yatra Parva, section 33. This Parva has 519 shlokas and 19 chapters. So this Parva is just almost as long as Bhagavad Gita. Gosha means herdsman, as well as a station where cowherds assemble. Yatra means an expedition or invasion. This Parva is named after an expedition the Kauravas undertake to see the Goshas in Dvaitavan, where the Pandavas are residing. The Kauravas are captured by the Gandharvas and are released by the Pandavas. At this insult, Duryodhana resolves to fast to death and is dissuaded. He returns to Hastinapura and performs a sacrifice. So, chapter 522, episode 225. Janame Jaya asked, while those foremost among men lived in the forest, their bodies, lean from the cold, the heat, the wind, and the sun, they arrived at the lake and sacred wood. Footnote, the Kamyaka forest. What did the Partas do next? Vaishampayana said, when Pandu's sons arrived at the lake, they dismissed their people and gave them instructions. They then roamed through the beautiful forests and mountains and regions that were along the rivers. When those brave ones dwelt there, studying and engaged in austerities, many venerable ones, learned in the Vedas, came to visit them. Those foremost among men showed them homage. One day, a Brahmana arrived to visit the Kurus. He was skilled in recounting tales. Having spent some time, he went as he willed to visit the king who was Vichitravirya's son. Footnote, that is Dhritarashtra. Having been honored by the aged king, supreme among the Kurus, he seated himself. On being asked, he began to recount stories about the sons of Dharma, Anila, and Indra, and the twins. Footnote, that is the Pandavas. They were in difficulties. They were lean, and their bodies from the wind, in their bodies from the wind and the heat. They were almost prostrate through terrible misery. Though she had the brave ones for her protectors, Krishna was like one without a protector and was overwhelmed through suffering. On hearing his words, the king, who was Vichitravirya's son, was disturbed and was flooded with compassion. He had learnt that the sons and grandsons of a king had been immersed in a river of difficulties in the forest. His inner soul was full of misery. His sighs were full of tears shed for the parters. He thought that he himself was responsible for everything. He collected himself in some fashion and spoke these words: Dharmaraja is the eldest of my sons. How is it that the truthful Ajatashatru, pure and devoted to the conduct of Aryas, must now sleep on the ground? He earlier used to sleep on beds covered with soft oranku skin. He is like Indra and used to be woken every day by the praises of minstrels and gods. Before night is over, he is now awoken from the bare ground by flocks of birds. Vrikodara is lean in the body from the wind and the sun. His limbs are full of wrath. His limbs do not deserve this. Before Krishna's eyes, how does he sleep on the earth, on the surface of the ground? Arjuna is delicate and intelligent. He is under the control of the king who is Dharma's son, but yet with all his limbs in pain, it is certain that he will not sleep at night, overcome by anger. On seeing the twins, Krishna, Yudhisthira and Bhima, devoid of happiness, will sigh like an energetic serpent, and it is certain that he will not sleep at night, overcome by anger. Though deserving of happiness, the twins are wretched. Their forms are the equal of the gods. It is certain that they are disturbed and will spend the nights awake, restrained only because of dharma and truth. The son of the wind is strong and is equal to the wind god in strength. It is certain that his terrible energy is restrained by dharma. It is certain that he sighs, suffering this in rage, tossing and turning on the ground. He desires the death of my sons. He is restrained by truth and dharma. He is waiting for the time when he can overcome them in battle. Ajatashatru was vanquished through deceit, and Dushasana spoke harsh words to him then. They must have penetrated Vikrodara's limbs and consumed his inside like a fire burns kindling. Dharma's son never thinks about evil deeds. Dhananjaya always follows him. But dwelling in the forest, Bhima's anger is increasing like a fire fanned by the wind. He is being tormented by that rage. The brave one is kneading one hand with the other. He is heaving terrible and warm sighs as if he wants to burn down my sons and grandsons. The wielder of the Gandiva and Vrikodara are like the fire at the time of destruction. With arrows that blaze like thunder, they leave no residue from the armies of enemies. Duryodhana Sakuni, the son of the Suta, is the extremely evil-minded Dushasana only saw the honey. They did not see the fall. Nor Virkodara and Dhananjaya. Having performed good or evil deeds, a man awaits the fruits of the deed that has been done. But the fruits often bind him. How can a man be freed from that? When the field has been ploughed well and the seed has been sown, when the god has reigned and the right time Has it ever been seen that there is no fruit? I think that it is not possible without destiny. The Pandavas are always devoted to that which is right, but the one who knows the minds of dice was not fair. Attached to my evil sons, neither was I. That became the fire of destruction for the Kurus. It is certain that the wind will blow, even if it is not instructed. It is certain that a woman who has conceived will give birth to offspring. It is certain that dawn signals the death of night, and that evening signals the death of the day. Regardless of the acts performed by us and those performed by others, regardless of riches donated by men, when it comes to obtaining the fruits, what are the fruits one obtains? If nothing remains of deeds, why perform them? We protect our riches so that they are not divided, do not drain off, and are not eroded. If they are not protected, they would divide into 100 parts. But it is certain that deeds are not destroyed in this world. Behold Dhananjaya's valor. From the forest he went to Shakra's world. He obtained divine weapons of 4 kinds. Having obtained the knowledge, he again returned to this world. Where is the man who has gone to heaven in his own body and desires to return again, unless he has seen the innumerable Kurus on the point of death, overcome by destiny? Arjuna Sabyasachi is the wielder of the bow. The bow, named Gandiva, is the essence of the world. There are celestial weapons in his possession. Who can withstand the energy of those 3? Footnote: Arjuna, Gandiva, and the celestial weapons. Having secretly heard these words of the king, Duryodhana and Sobala, Sakuni, were disturbed. They went to Karna and told him everything. The one with limited intelligence was unhappy at what he heard.
Oh, a bit more, please.
All right, a little bit more.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. Oh.
1, 2, 3. Vaishampayana said, together with Sobala, which is Sakuni, Karna heard these words of Dhritarashtra. At an appropriate time he spoke thus to Duryodhana. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, you have exiled the brave Pandavas through your own valor. You now enjoy the earth alone, like the killer of Shambhara in heaven. O Lord of men, O King, all the kings of the east, south, west, and north pay tribute to you. The blazing Lakshmi used to serve the Pandavas earlier. O King, but with your brothers you have now won her. O King, the blazing prosperity that we earlier saw for a short time with Yudhishthira in Indraprastha is now with you, and he is oppressed by sorrow. O King, you have snatched it from Yudhishthira with your intelligence and strength. O mighty armed one, the radiance is seen to be with you now. O Indra among kings, O slayer of enemy warriors. All the kings are now established under your suzerainty and ask you what they should do. O King, the entire goddess earth is yours now, with the ocean as a garment, with mountains and forests, with villages, cities and mines, with many groves and countries, and adorned with habitations. O King, the Brahmanas praise you, and you are worshipped by the kings for your manliness. You shine among them like the one with the rays among the gods in heaven. O King, surrounded by the Kurus, you shine like King Yama amidst the Rudras, Maruts, and Vasava, like the king of the Nakshatras. Let us go and see the Pandavas. residing in the forest and bereft of prosperity. They always slighted you and never showed you respect. O great king, it is said that the Pandavas reside together with the forest-dwelling Brahmanas near Lake Dwaitavana. O great king, go there with your supreme prosperity and torment the sons of Pandu with your energy like the sun. You are established in your kingdom, and they have been dislodged from their kingdom. You have wealth, and they are deprived of wealth. They are without prosperity, and you are full of prosperity. O king, go and see the sons of Pandu. Let the Pandavas behold you like Nahusha's son Yayati with great splendor and established in great fortune. O Lord of the earth, this prosperity that well-wishers and ill-wishers see in a radiant man is considered to be real power. Like a man who stands on a mountain and looks down on earth, what happiness can there be that is greater than being on plain ground while one's foes are on uneven terrain? O tiger amongst kings, the birth of a son or the obtaining of a kingdom does not bring as much bliss as seeing one's enemies in misery. What happiness will there not be on being successful oneself and on seeing Dhananjaya attired in bark and skins? Let your wives, attired in excellent garments, see the miserable Krishna attired in bark and skins, and thereby increase her grief.
Ooh.
Bereft of riches, let her criticize her own self and her life. She felt grief in the midst of the assembly hall, but on seeing your wives adorned in ornaments, the grief will be greater. O Janamejaya, thus did Karna and Sakuni speak to the kings, and having spoken, they fell silent.
You still have to read just the next little bit. I just looked, it's just a small bit more.
Why?
Okay, stop. Okay, Kanai has restrained me.
Okay.
Okay.